What's going on, everybody? My name is Kyle Moken with Sigma Street Capital Management. Today I'm going to be going over the Ichibot Indicator. I've tried to make a bunch of these videos and I keep just getting all over the place. And that's because mainly that there's not a lot out there that's really like this indicator, and so it's kind of hard to just go over it without explaining in depth all the different possibilities with this indicator. And I think the easiest way to pretty much sum it up is in math there's an equation for finding something called combinations, right? So if you have 10 things, let's call them variables, even if it's 10 numbers, how many ways can you combine the numbers? And what I mean by combine is you could do 1, you could do 2, like number 2 by itself, you could do number 3 by itself, number 4, number 5, all the way up to 10. So that's 10. Then you could do 1 and 2, you could do 1 and 3, you could do 1 and 4, 1 and 5, 1 and 6, 1 and 7, 1 and 8, 1 and 9, 1 and 10. And you could do 2 and 3, 2 and 4, 2. Those are called combinations. You could do that all the way up until you just are choosing all 10. Well, in that scenario, these are your trading conditions, like prices over the cloud, baseline is under the conversion line, this, that. So this indicator has 10 trading conditions. So the amount of ways that you can combine that leads you to 1,023 different combinations. Okay? On top of that, there's up to 7 time frames that you can include with those same 10 trading conditions, which means that that 10 now becomes 70 variables. And when you find the combination for 70 variables, you wind up in the area of, it's not millions or billions or trillions or quadrillions or quintillions, but it's like sextillions. And so the logic was, if you found 1,000, if you created 1,000 combinations every day, how many days would it take? That amount of days equals more days that have currently existed in the universe. So if that doesn't sum it up, I don't really know a better way to put that into perspective as to why this indicator is not really like a lot of indicators. It's also a strategy. You can implement this today if you wanted to. Create a strategy and backtest it, start trading with it. So if you don't know what Ichimoku is, I'm going to give you the worst description of it. Your baseline is like a slow moving average, it's a red line. Your conversion line is like a fast moving average, it's a blue line. Okay? If the blue line is over or under, that's like one type of signal. You have this cloud, okay? I'll be 100% honest with you, I don't know what the cloud is calculated by. I could care less. It's a cloud, it's like support and resistance, it's displaced in front of your current closing price, okay? If it's green or whatever bullish color you want it to be, that's a good indication that it's a bullish move signal coming up, whatever. Okay? The lagging span here is your closing price displaced 26 bars behind. Here's what I know that matters, okay? One of the reasons Ichimoku is superior among just about everything is because of the amount of candles considered every candle. So it moves in a time series of like 52 candles, okay? And so, not just because of that spread of information that's being considered, but all the variables that go into it. There's 2 moving averages, a lagging span, and a cloud. And the cloud is like 2 variables in and of itself, because you could be above or below the current cloud, which is like the value of the cloud underneath this candle, or you could be referencing whether the future cloud is bullish or bearish in terms of its color. Okay, so my indicator allows you to, number 1, just see it clearer. It looks nicer on your screen. I use red and blue for everything. I color code everything. There's no conversion line on here. There's no lagging span on here. And what I mean by it's not on here, it's just not plotted, because I don't like a messy screen. However, it is built into the code logic. So I'm going to try to break down everything in this settings panel. This is your visuals section, all right? You could show the high and the low pivots if you want, which is how I represent the lagging span, which is that green line. This is a 26 period high low pivot, which basically means that this circle was generated because this high was the highest high in the last 26 candles. It got generated after the very next candle closed, which means if this candle doesn't have a high higher than this one, and this high was the highest high in the last 26 candles, it plots a circle. What you'll notice is that these pivot points are of more significance when you are in a trend, because if you're in an uptrend and you get a pivot point like this and then you start moving back upwards, it's a nice indication. Also, if you're in an uptrend and you're getting no pivot points on the bottom, it's letting you know that you're never plotting a candle that was lower than the last 26 candles. And so that's why the lagging span is useful. It's just represented differently here. Turn that off. I'm going to turn the signal labels to large. So there's no signal labels on the chart yet. This next section is a stop loss. We'll talk about that later. Then there's a take profit you can enter. There's a trail stop you can enter. There's trade settings, like don't allow trade reversals, which means that a sell signal cannot cancel out a currently active buy trade and vice versa. There's also another one where it's only one trade per signal, and that's something I'll go over. There's a trading schedule, which means you can choose if you want to generate signals only during major sessions or any custom time that you want, any day, or you can just do 24/7. By the way, this is coded off of New York time, right? So if you're not from New York, that sucks for you. If you don't live in the United States, that also sucks for you. I'm not changing it. What else? Okay, so the time frame settings. I'm just a dick. But figure it out, right? Because I don't know what GMT stands for. It sounds like a shitty car. Time frame settings. You can choose multiple or single time frames. We're going to start off with single, just so I can show you how to start generating labels. Show all or absolute. It'll make sense in a minute. So we're going to click on use the current time frame and price is over or under the cloud. Right? This is automatically going to start generating labels everywhere. These labels are generated every time the price moves above or below the cloud. So the price has to close above the cloud. Alright? These aren't great signals, even though you get lucky every now and then. It's just one trading condition. Right? But this is nice if you have a strategy already and you just are like, man, my strategy works great as long as I'm not trading in the Ichibot cloud on the 30-minute time frame. You can add this. What you'll notice is this baseline that I kept in here will change colors. Now, the very cool thing about my baseline, if you noticed, the baseline turned gray here and then it went back to blue. If the baseline is changing colors, if it goes from blue to gray, then that means the conditions haven't been met. If it goes from gray back to blue, those conditions have been met again. But they've been met in reference to whatever is the last previously plotted label. So this label, if you hover over it, it's a buy signal on the current time frame. It's a number 1 label because it's considering conditions met only from one time frame. Okay, not too crazy stuff there, okay? Now I'm going to go to the 30-minute time frame and I'm going to say I want to know whenever the all of the future cloud is bullish or bearish. I'll go over the 10. I'll just do it now. The 10 different trading conditions are: the price can close over or under the cloud. The future cloud can be bullish or bearish. The closing price can be over or under the conversion line. The conversion line could be over or under the baseline. The lagging span can be over or under the candles. The lagging span could be over or under the cloud. Lagging span could be over or under the conversion line and the baseline. Conversion line can be over or under the cloud. The baseline can be over or under the cloud, and then all cloud is bullish or bearish. That just means that if your candle is directly over a cloud and it's blue or red, whatever, from that part of the cloud all the way to where the current cloud stopped, It's all one color with no changing color in between. That's all that condition means. And so what you noticed is that nothing changed because I didn't change how many time frames we want to consider. So I'm going to go to multiple. Now, because I selected the current time frame and the half-hour time frame, we are going to see signals with the number 2. This means that conditions have been met on this current time frame and the 30-minute time frame. Same thing here. Now, if you notice, every time the baseline changes colors, I'm going to actually get rid of the cloud just so we can see the baseline, because I want to really touch on that subject. Every time this baseline goes from gray to blue, it's telling you that whatever the last label was, those are the conditions that are being met when the baseline turns blue again. Okay? So all the way here, those conditions were still met. Alright, so from Thursday all the way to over here, Thursday. So for a week, this was the same signal, just that kept happening on and off. And we finally changed here. So we're obviously, I can tell just by looking at this now that on a weekly basis, the trend is starting to change downward, obviously. Like, now we get a very long red baseline. Color coding helps me be able to see things clearly if I know what the conditions being met are. Let's keep pushing along because this is already going to be a long video and we're like not even halfway through. So what I'm currently in the middle of doing is creating a new strategy for a new trading bot. It's called the Ichibot because I use this to create trading robots. Alright, so I'm just going to give you an example of one that I was trying to create during a previous recording of this video. I stumbled upon it, and then I stopped the video because I got a little selfish and I was like, I don't know if I want to actually show this setup because it's really good and I'm selfish. But I don't care now. So what I've done is I've selected the current time frame, lagging span over the candles. I'm on the 5-minute time frame, and then we're going to do the 30-minute time frame. All cloud is bullish or bearish, and I only want to see absolute signals. What absolute signals means is if I go to the 15-minute time frame and I hit price over the cloud, and then I go to the daily time frame and I hit conversion line over the baseline, and the 4-hour I do baseline over the cloud. What that's going to do is generate a crap ton of signals, and the reason that it generates a bunch of signals is because if you have the current time frame selected, it's going to tell you every time that another time frame's condition, bare minimum, has to be met with the current time frame. So the lowest signal label value that you'll get is of 2, right? And again, you can just hover over these to see what's going on. If I hover over this, buy signal on the current time frame and the 15-minute time frame. Cool. Well, what you'll notice is, if we have a bunch of different time frames selected, I think we have 4 now. We have the current time frame, 15, 30-minute, 4-hour, and daily. Right. So that means that the highest label value we can get is a 5. And so what if I only want to see the highest value? Well, then I'll come over here to show all/absolute signals, and I'll change it to absolute. And what that will do is that'll weed out anything that is not a trading condition that meets all the requirements on all the time frames in the same candle. And that's what these 5 labels are. So these are random just conditions. But what it is they're very tight, strict criteria. Okay? And obviously, if we're just doing nothing but, oh wow, this is from today, holy crap. Yeah, that's a nice signal. So these are actually pretty nice signals. Well, that's what all/absolute means in terms of this. So I'm going to go back to the strategy that I started creating yesterday. I think I just have it memorized. So we come here, we go to, I'm going to turn labels off because we're going to actually introduce now the strategy portion of this indicator. So we're going to do a 5,000 point stop loss and a 1,000 point take profit. I'm going to go to the property section. I'm going to turn this to my account size of 200,000 with a contract size of 10. My commission for my broker is 7 cents a contract. And by the way, this is like probably a whole nother video of me having to prove this to people, but Heikinashi works. It's accurate. I forward test it with my bots. Okay. The reason that, and I'll show you, the reason why my Heikinashi backtested results are way more accurate for 2 reasons. My strategy is calculating an entry based off a Heikinashi close, but it's calculating the value of the entry based on standard open, high, lows, close values. Let me reiterate that. If my condition was enter a trade when the close is above the candle, it's going to generate a signal when the Heikinashi closes over the cloud. That's what I meant to say. But it's going to calculate the entry of an actual closing price of a regular candle. What that does, because you're on Heikinashi, the Ichimoku calculations are automatically going to be different. So you're getting it's a different signal generation, but the calculations for the entries and the exits are accurate. Okay, so I will go over that. But for right now, this is where I left off, and I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. This is all fine and dandy, but until I can backtest something, I'm not okay with anything till I can backtest a few years and get at least a couple thousand trades, because you need a decent sample size. So this is 285 trades. I'm going to turn my webcam off so you guys can see. This is 285 trades, 46% in less than a year. This is the last 11 months and some change. 88% profitable, profit factor of 1.5, drawdown is 6.5. So I keep a small drawdown, and I use a negative risk to reward. So what's my average ratio? Winning trades, 0.2. Okay, that is not good. So then why am I able to be so profitable? Well, if you're winning often, and you're getting winning streaks, and you're trading with a trend, put it this way, it's the accuracy that matters, right? So if I, on average, let's round down to 88. If I win 88 trades and I'm losing 12 trades, but those 12 trades are really like 5, like 1, because again, for every 1 trade I lose is like winning 5. That's 60 losing trades compared to 88 winning trades. And so as long as you're winning more than when you lose, you're profitable. Okay? So that average, that 0.2, that ratio, whatever, is actually spot on, because it's a -5 to 1. So that completely holds up. It's the fact that I'm accurate with these trades. So yes, on average I do lose 5 times more than when I win, but because of these conditions being met, I'm accurate. And so if I had an accuracy of like 70%, I probably would shit the bed with this strategy. You can see all these conditions getting met here. So this was one trade that entered here, moved here. And one way you can automatically tell too, just by looking, look at the entries of these. It entered at the line down here. Okay, that is not a Heikinashi open or close, so it's using the real bar data. Right, I've already back tested all this stuff and forward tested it real time with my own trading bots. So yeah, I mean, this is a winning strategy. And so what I would do then is I would take this and I would input those into my actual bot, which is here. I don't ever plan on releasing any of my bots just because I'm not the kind of person that's trying to make money off of selling stuff. I've been in sales my whole life. I got out of it for a reason, and I got into trading because I don't want to be in sales. So like, I'm not gonna sell anything. If you want help making a bot or something, like, I'll just hit me up and I'll help you and give you some tips or whatever. But I'm not also just gonna make my bots like open source, because the amount of work it's taken, like, there's no amount of money that you can pay me for these. Alright, and so I'll show you my current bot, how it performs, and then maybe you'll see why I am the way I am. Excuse me. Oh, God. And so this like obliterates prop firms challenges. 137%, 85% accurate, profit factor of 1.9, 987 trades this year. Okay, so it's not the perfect looking equity line, but it's one that I'm definitely happy with, given the fact that my drawdown's 6%, my net profit's 137%, right? So, but in terms of the actual indicator itself, yeah, I mean, this is a winning strategy that we pretty much did. And so I don't know what else I'm missing. I mean, I'm sure you guys get the general gist of this. The only other thing I was trying to do to make it better was mess around with trailing stops, because I use negative risk to reward, and I don't use take profits. I just use trailing stops, and that's another way to offset that ratio. So here's what we could do. My ratio is 0.2. Let's try to bring that up. So instead of using a take profit, I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to turn my points on for the trailing stops. I'm going to make my activation 1,000 points and my trail stop 100 points. So now, basically, instead of a take profit, my stop loss is getting activated at 1,000 points, and it's getting put 100 points below. So I use a tight trailing stop. Now we're at 92%, profit factor of 2.6. And we took that ratio from 0.2 to 0.218. Right. So, pretty different, right? Let's see where we were at before. We're at 92.3 now with a trail stop. Without a trail stop, we were at, let's see, 90 and a profit factor of 1.8. And so, yeah, trail stops overtake profits. And this is all just using my experience from back testing everything that I do. Everything I do, it has to make sense practically in order for it to work. I mean, look at this trade here. Like that. Look at the drawdown just to get that winner. You know what I mean? But it's why negative risk to reward works, because Scott Welsh, the guy I follow on YouTube, he said it pretty best. It's like, you can't win if you quit, and you're less likely to quit if you win all the time, right? So if you wake up and your bot is like, oh cool, I did 10 winning trades today. Like, look at this, a 14 win trade streak from here to here, from 15 to 23. This is that 8 win trade streak, from 40 to 59. Okay, a 19 win trade streak. Okay, from 60 to 79, a 19 win trade streak, right? So yeah, you take 2 losses in a row and it obliterates your profits. But this is the way it goes with automated trading, right? So that's pretty much it with this indicator. I mean, it's like my 20th time trying to record it, and I just don't care anymore, right? If you need help using it, just reach out to me. I don't do anything but do this all day. That's pretty much it. Oh, I'm so tired. Hopefully you guys get value out of this, and good luck.